Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. This is, well, I keep messing this up. My name is Adam Ferns and this is basically ranking the tokens/relics that Tom has gained throughout his first 3 quests, which will involve the shield tokens, the golden armor, and the jeweled belt. Just those 3, as the other ones I'm not going to count, as it's just going to get a bit too confusing, and some are basically the same. The amulet. The amulet is basically the same thing, like with each piece. Freya's tokens, I'll just say the ring is useless, the pearl is best. And the potion cure and Oridu stuff, no. Knights of Forton, can't remember what their tokens were. So I just went with the first 3 quests with their tokens, the jeweled belt, the golden armor, and the shield tokens. Now, because a list of 3 is kind of boring, I took each piece of what makes those tokens and ordered them into least useful to most useful. This goes along with how many times Tom has actually used these jewels/items in any quest, whether it's to get out of a predicament or to actually use it in battle against a beast. I have the cards for each of them though, so I'll be showing them each time I come across each of them, and I already messed up her order. So we're going to, I hope the order is right. If not, then well, I know the top 2 is. So remember, please, this is my opinion. So please don't say I'm wrong in the comments below. It's just what I think is least useful to most useful. How often Tom uses it and whether it actually provides any use. So we're going to start things off with last place being the purple jewel. Now with the purple jewel, I'm going to do it like that. Tom has only used this twice, I believe. One at the end of Sting when he got this, and the other one I'm not sure what he used it for, but I know he used it. I know he used it to hit against a rock and it broke. That was the only 2 times I saw him use the purple jewel, and honestly, it's like, why have something that you're only going to use twice? Next is the horseshoe fragment, which Tom got after he beaten Tagus. Or release Tagus. I'm not entirely sure when he would use that, but I know what it does. It increases the speed of when he's riding Storm, or when he's running actually. But there's another item that does that better, and he uses that one more often than this, so he doesn't really use it anymore. There's no use for it. Next is basically a duplicate of another piece of the golden armor, the amber jewel. Tom got this after he defeated Tusk, and this one increases sharpening his fighting skills. Only problem is though, the gauntlets do that as well, so if you don't use the amber jewel because you have the gauntlets, then that's better, because he did have the power of the golden armor in that series. Next is, wow, another jewel. Okay, the yellow jewel. Tom has rarely used this. It's just to sharpen his memory so then he can remember something that was ages ago. But he's only used it a few times, so it's not really that important to have. Yeah. Moving on, we have the serpent's tooth. This one is just to protect Tom from rushing waters. He hasn't used that very often. He used it in Crab and Zephyr, not Naga though, and he may have used it in with Balisk, but ultimately he hasn't used it much at all because there's barely any water beasts he goes against. I'm only skimming through this as, well, there's not really much to talk about with each of these things, and until we get past the next 2, we're actually going into ones that Tom actually uses. So next is the white jewel. This one allows Tom to send his shadow forward to scout out the area, however with the consequence that he cannot move afterwards. And with that as a problem, it has caused him to nearly die so many times. I can picture that duel along with the ring may be a good combination, but at the end of the day, they're still both useless items. The white jewel is better though because you can send your shadow out to scout ahead, but you won't be able to move till it comes back. Next is the enchanted bell. Now this one has been used the most out of all these other items because it protects Tom from the harsh cold. Got this from Nanook, by the way, obviously. But that's probably the only thing Tom has done, or Nanook has done, give Tom the bell, so then that's useful. Okay, the rest of these are in fact ones that Tom uses on the often. These two are the ones he used the least though. Now I was debating whether to put these like this or swap them over, but I think I'm just going to introduce them at the same time. So in 10th and 11th place is the golden gauntlets and the golden leg armor, both of which Tom uses every now and then, but he doesn't actually use it as often as the others. I think he uses leg armor more often, but he still doesn't use it that much because with that he needs to rely. He either does it when he needs to go ahead, when Alina will catch up, or when he knows when he's like really far behind. So, for example, in Rykar, he used the leg armor to catch up to Rykar and Storm when they got a head start. Well, when Rykar got the head start, so he used it to catch up to Rykar and knock him over. God, talking fast. So yeah, but at the end of the day, not used that much at all though. Same with the gauntlets, but you can tell Tom will use the power of the gauntlets more often than the amber jewel because I think he needs to touch the jewels to actually use their power. Sorry, I just dropped a card. Whilst with the armor, you just need to have the power of it and done. Moving on to the golden chainmail vest. This one was going to be in like where the amber jewel was, but I decided to move it up when I realised that Tom used it on the very, very often. Like in Series 21, we found out that he used it often, giving him the courage to go into these battles. So, had to give him that. Moving on to 8th place, we have the golden boots. That basically gives Tom good jumping ability, but that's it. So, yeah. I put that above the chainmail vest though, because I know Tom used it a lot. He used it more recently in Morax, and he's used it in previous seasons before that. And I just realised, I think I said Series 21 that the golden armor got melted. I meant Series 23. Okay, I'm not sure if I did say that, but I know I didn't now. Okay, moving on to 7th place, and these are starting to get into the really useful ones now. The Dragon Scale. This one protects Tom from any form of heat whatsoever. It saved his life against Rykar, Skrar, and Stritor. And there's not really much to say that's negative about it. I just know that Tom uses these six more often than he uses that. And there's 2 of each left. 2 armors, 2 jewels, and 2 shield tokens. The Dragon Scale is used the least out of all of them, though, followed closely behind with the Golden Helmet. Tom used the Golden Helmet to see long distances ahead, so then he could see whether something will be a trap where it'll be impossible for the people over there to see him. And could be used as spy on Malvel or Velmal, so yeah, that's good. Haven't seen him use it in a while though, but it is probably one of the most useful items. Moving on to the item that actually saved Tom's life so many times, including against the Vespic, the Eagle Feather. This one protects Tom from falling from large heights by raising the shield above his head, and he'll just soar like a glide, like a glider. It's pretty useful, as I said, and Tom uses it very often, especially when he's in aerial battle coming down. The only time when he couldn't use that was on Series 13. Was it Series 13? No, it was Series 12, when for some reason Tom didn't have a shield, so he had to use Vespic's Wing to do that. But Vespic's Wing still done the same thing. It just would have been so much lower because he doesn't use that, because he only got the wing once. Moving on to 4th place, which is probably the least useful out of all of the remaining items, and that's the Red Jewel. This allows Tom to communicate with any of the beasts that he goes against, and allowing him to talk to them and try and reason with them so they don't attack him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's also used to call Furno or other Avantian beasts forward to help out. It helped out in Series 12 for the first half, where Rock, Crab and Amictus came in to help Tom defeat those beasts. And in and it also helped in Series 10 when Tom called Furno to come and help him with Malvel. 3rd place we have the Green Jewel. By far the most useful jewel out of all of them, as it gives the power to heal broken bones, which helped, I believe it was Epos, in Score, where Score broke Epos's wing, and with the use of the Green Jewel, Epos's wing was healed, and she got to go home. It's been used so many times, once or twice on himself. I know once or twice on Alina as well, and a few times on random passerbys they come across that is healed. It worked on Silver as well. I was going to say something about the Red Jewel, which I had a problem with, because I just realised that from Series 24, and that's the fact that Rhea is perfectly able to use the Red Jewel to communicate with Tom when he was a beast, but that reminded me of a previous season where Tom said to Alina when Silver was injured, the jewels only work for himself. So how did that jewel work for Tom? I have no idea. No, how did that jewel work for Rhea? I have no idea. 2nd place is the Golden Breastplate. Now this one is the one. This one is the armor piece that Tom uses the most, as it's gives him the great physical strength. So a good swipe with his sword can knock his opponent over, and he used it more recently, I believe, with not for me, it was Ravera. Most likely Ravera, but which beast did he use it for? It was probably, he used it for Durog, not to kill Durog, but to break through that wooden prison that he was stuck in. He's used it so many times before that, and making it probably the most useful piece of golden armor. But now we're down to the final token, and I think it's pretty obvious it's the best, the Phoenix Talon. This one gives Tom the power to heal any cuts or scrapes that have occurred throughout any of his quests. It's very fair to say that I'm confident in saying, actually, that Tom has used this item along with the Green Jewel after each beast is defeated. He uses it just to heal himself back up and then go straight forward to go against the next beast. Although that is just a guess, I'm pretty confident he does that. And with that being said, I think that's all for this time. I'm sorry if I skimmed through this, but there's not really much to say about one jewel being useless or one shield token being useful. So that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.